Hello traders, Steve Gans here. So one of the things I really like to do in my YouTube channel is to share new technologies, new concepts, new software with people. And while this particular software is not new to me, because I actually used to work for Option Alpha, Kirk Du Plessis, the founder of Option Alpha, and Jack Slocum. A great team, great product. They were launching this new automated trading platform. And I was, one of the cogs in the wheel, if you will, for a couple of years, helping them get this up and running, helping bring new traders up to speed on how it works, etc. But it's been, year and a half or so since I've been there, and they have really added to this. They put some great stuff into the mix there. The one I want to share today is something called Earnings Edge. Now, I have never seen anything like this anywhere before, and to me, this is potentially game-changing when it comes to earnings and trading earnings. Everybody always wonders, well, what if I had done this trade around earnings over the past X earnings reports? How would that have panned out? It's a way to kind of gauge what might work, what might not. So what this does, if I come into Earnings Edge, it gives me all the different companies that have earnings coming up. Now, this goes out 14 days. I'm only interested in things that are reporting tonight or tomorrow night, or tomorrow morning, So I'm sorting this basically by the date. So in addition to that, I want to come in and I want to take a look at some things. Like I want to filter this down to only things that maybe have a 50% or higher historical win rate. I want trades that historically have had an average rate of return of, let's say, 30% or more. I like trades that have a higher reward to risk ratio. So maybe I want to risk a smaller amount for the potential of a larger gain. So maybe I want at least a 50% reward to risk ratio. So I can filter this down pretty much any way I want. I can come and trim down the number of symbols that I want to look at, etc. Now, I can also define my strategy, whether I want just a long call, if I want a condor, whatever. I'm not going to worry about this. I'm more about finding a good potential trade that has a good potential return. And as I look at this, there's some that come to the surface here. So Bristol Myers has a number of different trades that historically have done quite well. I like the fact that the reward to risk ratio on this one seems to be really good. I'm basically risking $12 here to make $38 on this condor. It's got a 65% win rate. 143% average return. Now this is over the last 5-year period. So I can come in here, I can click on View Backtest, and it actually shows me historically what this would have backtested out to over all of the recent earnings announcements. This is for the past 5 years. And here's the results that would have come out of that any time that we had done a similar trade to this based on where it's trading and putting on our condor X amount, X delta on either side, with the puts on one side, of course, calls on the other side. So this has a win-loss, 13 wins, 7 losses, 65% win rate. Best win was 316%. So I can see all of those details around this trade. Now, I can even take this one step further here, and I can come in and I can say view the stats. Now, when I look at the stats, it gives me all this information as to how they've historically done. Basically, this is the quick view, and apparently they've blown out earnings more often than not, it looks like to me. They've beat earnings 85% of the time. So these are all of the stats on each individual trade that had occurred over, again, the past 5 years. So if I look at this and I think, that's a pretty interesting trade, I'm interested in pursuing that, and I believe that was this one right here, I can go ahead, queue it up. This is what that trade would look like. I can see right here there is a wide bid-ask spread on this. That's a little concerning to me. I only want to get into this if I can get a decent fill on it. And I should also say one other thing I can do here. If I want to modify this trade, maybe I want to see about doing a butterfly, and we're currently right at that 45.50 range. Let's just look at this just for the heck of it. So I can come in and I can do this as a butterfly at 45.50, and let's just back test that and see if that improves my results. It lowered my win rate a little bit because the prior win rate was 65%, but it gives me a much higher best win on this thing and an average return of 152%. So the average return is actually a little bit higher on that. So you know what? That's interesting to me. I like that. And my bid-ask spread is a little bit tighter here because I'm also trading my short strikes closer to the money. So that's going to give me just a little tighter bid-ask spread on that as well. So if I want to go out and see about putting this trade out there, I'm going to go ahead and I'll trade, I don't know, I'll do 10 of these. I usually risk on earnings trades anywhere from, $300 to maybe $800, $900. I want my fill to be $1.29 is mid. I'm willing to go a little outside of mid on this and give up a little bit of, a little bit away from the mid, but I don't want to go too far. If I can't get filled within a couple cents of the mid, I'll try again later. I'm going to try, I'm going to go fast here. Normally I do patient, and this is how it's going to march through a series of orders for me, but I'm going to do fast so that everybody can see what it's doing. Now, I have to drop this into a bot or a container. So I have a bot that's just set up that I call my hand crank trading bot. And now here's one of the really cool features too of Option Alpha is that I can define my exit options. Now I've got predefined exits here, but just to show you what these are, I can say always take profit when I hit whatever, 25%, 50%, whatever. I can also do trailing stops that say once I hit 25%, close on a 5% pullback or something along those lines. I can set a stop loss. I don't happen to use stop losses in most of my options trades because I worry about getting taken out in a wide bid-ask spread. There's all sorts of different settings that you can use here to build preset conditions, and this bot is watching the market every 1 minute to see if your conditions are met. Now, I kind of just go with a standard, and I can't say there's any science behind this, but I try to look for a 35%. And then if I get to a 35% profitability, then if it pulls back more than 6%, it's going to go ahead and take me out. But it's got to get to that 35% first. If this thing just blows to the upside, blows to the downside, and I'm way outside of my tent, it's never going to get to that level of profitability to where I might be able to get out at a profit. So let me go ahead. I'm going to hit the Place Trade button. Watch what happens here. So it's going to open up a separate window, and that separate window, let's see, here we go. It's going to start marching through the prices. So it's going to try $1.29, see if it can get me filled. If it can't, then it's going to go to $1.28. If it still can't get me filled at 28, it's going to go to 27, which is the lowest price I was willing to accept for this butterfly. So we'll see in a second here if I get that fill. If I don't, then I can go back and I can, maybe I'll take another stab at this, lowering that requirement a little bit. I could also be more patient on this. I could say, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and try each one of these prices for a longer period of time and allow the market to kind of move around it. Yeah, so it looks like I might not get my fill at $1.27. And so this will cancel in a second, but just to speed this up for the sake of, for the video here, I'm going to retry the position, and I'll go ahead. I'll go a little lower on this. I'll go down to $1.25, and let's just try it again. and it's going to go through the same process. Now it's starting at $1.27, then it's going to go to $1.26, and it'll go to $1.25. There we go. All right, so I am filled. This is my position, and because I got filled at a slightly worse price, I have a little higher risk in this trade. Now what's going to happen is tomorrow after the earnings, if it doesn't move significantly, this is going to show some fairly quick profitability. Hopefully it'll get up over that 35% profit threshold fairly rapidly. At that point, it's going to start monitoring for any pullbacks of 6% or more. If that does happen, then it's going to go ahead and place an order to take me out. So I'll see about updating everyone tomorrow on this. Again, hopefully it'll be a decent earnings trade, but you never know. But the key here is I was able to look at the math and find specific trades that historically had worked out well. And I really like that ability. I haven't seen the ability to do this sort of thing anywhere else to where you can come in and see historically if you had traded this trade over the past 20 earnings reports, these would have been the results. And to me, this is a game changer. I think this is awesome. If you want to know more about Option Alpha, if you want to check them out, I'm going to put a link down below that will give you a free trial so you can log in and check it out. This is just one of the many things it does. This is just one of the newest things. I see they've also added a zero DTE trading methodology. And then, of course, you can write bots that will open positions under certain conditions and then monitor their P&L, close them at stops, close them at certain profit targets, do trailing stops. Lots and lots of things. So if you want to know more, again, check out the link down below. And if you like seeing new technology and new things like this brought to you, give me a comment. Certainly like and subscribe. I appreciate that as well. But give me a comment. Let me know what sort of things you'd like to see in the trading world, and I'll see what I can find. Take care, everyone.